The Burros of Berea is a conversational podcast.
We study the Bible and we talk about it.
Not all of us are of the same faith.
And one of us doesn't have a faith.
But we still love one another, and we're going to continue to talk about these things.
The things we believe in and the things we believe about what we read in the Bible. Not all of these are necessarily true. Some of it is opinion and speculation. Thank you for
listening and speculating with us.
There you go. That was good. Yes.
You are listening to the Burros of Berea.
Well, welcome back to the Burros of Berea. I am Rick Welch, and I'm sitting across the glass with, today is his birthday, Rocket Man Andy Bishop.
Rocket Man Andy Birthday Boy Bishop. Yeah, thank you.
How many candles we put on your cake today?
96.
Finally. He's just shy of 100, Rocket Man Andy Bishop.
I'm counting in like ostrich ears.
Yeah, we're not. We don't have the rest of the burros here because we're doing something odd. My guest Kirsten Barton's back. Hey, Kirsten.
Hey, Rick.
So glad to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're on vacation up here.
Yes, I am.
Because you love to hike and you love the mountains.
I do.
Yeah, I saw your video. It's so cool. I've never been up on Frying Pan Mountain or whatever it's called.
Oh, you guys have to go. Does Holly like to hike?
Does Holly like to hike? No. Do I like to hike? No. I'm not really much of a hiker. Anything that requires me walking and breathing and sweating is not for me. But recently, I know this sounds crazy, but I started walking every day. I started going down to the park.
Good. I need to do something.
My doctor told me that I was a 9% candidate for a heart attack. This was about 6 months ago. And so that's why I started losing weight, and that's why I've started
9%?
walking. 9% chance.
That's not that bad.
You know what? It was a 9% more than what I thought I was before.
Okay.
You know, and so, but I also turned 50. And so turning 50 was like very eye-opening for me. And I was like,
it's a big number.
Holy mackerel.
That's how I felt when I turned ostrich 80.
Yeah, I know. And now you're 96. But this, it really kind of shocked my system. And so, last year I started with the nutrition coach, Marchessa Taylor, and she has helped me tremendously with my diet. I'm called a flexitarian. That's what it is now. I'm doing the carnivore. They call it a dirty carnivore, but basically I eat, meats and chicken and stuff like that, which is also a meat, poultry, but with green vegetables like broccoli and peas and stuff like that.
Low carbs. Mostly.
Yeah.
Averaged out.
It's very low. I probably get less than 20 carbs a day unless I eat a lot of vegetables.
Man, low carb diets make people lose weight.
Well, they do, but I also the thing that I've noticed the most is that I don't have like the headaches from the high blood pressure that I once had.
Really?
That's awesome.
And because I completely quit all sugar, and suddenly none of my joints hurt anymore.
I've heard that exact one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that very claim. I've heard that before.
That is what I noticed the most, is that when I started no longer eating any sugar. And by the way, I've gotten better about knowing my system, which is before I just didn't. I just ate and whatever, and I felt whatever. Like I never thought about it.
Oh, I'm bad for that.
And I know a lot of people that they're really smart and they're like, hey, you should eat a sweet potato instead because it's a complex carbohydrate and it's slow digesting and it doesn't increase your insulin and stuff like that. I never thought of food like that. I was just like, I was a crazy fad diet person, and then I would lose weight and then I'd gain it and lose weight and gain it. But this time, Marchessa's taught me a lot about food and what food does for me. And like using avocado oil to help. Actually, it's like lubricating your system, man. It's wild. It really works. But the no sugar anti-inflammation is true for me. I don't know if it is for everybody, but it is true for me.
Again, definitely a thing I've heard before.
Yeah.
Not a new thing.
Yeah. And so that is the only thing I haven't kicked are Coke Zeros, but they have stevia. They don't have like sucralose and other things. I'm sure it's not good for you, but it's like, that's my treat because I don't do any sugars anymore. But
sure.
But one thing I did notice I was going to say about sugar is that when I eat it, this on Mother's Day, my mother-in-law made this mandarin orange cake. And dude, I love orange anything,
Yeah.
But this, it's like eating springtime. It's so fresh. It's just amazing. And she makes it's just so good. Anyway, I took a tiny slice. I mean, so it was such a slice, it was like just barely 2 widths of the blade of the knife.
So a polite slice.
It fell apart, when I was trying to put it on my plate. I ate it. And dude, the addiction, like I wanted it for 3 days. Like I just wanted more sugar for 3 days. So I was like, does this mean that I'm going to have to give it up forever? Because I've never really considered me being the kind of person that could give up sugar. I'm the guy that had a belly so big that I could put a bowl of ice cream on it and sit in my chair and it would sit on my belly.
I feel like you bragged about that.
I did. Because it would just sit there, it was awesome. But anyway, so I probably would go on a hike with you now. I probably would, Kirsten.
It's not that bad of a hike. The Frying Pan Mountain Tower, it's not that bad. It's like 3/4 of a mile to the tower, and then you just go up the tower.
Yeah. What is it about hiking that you like?
I love being in nature. And I love the beach, don't get me wrong, but
that's where you live, is the beach, right?
Yeah, but there's just more to see in the mountains. I feel like a lot more to see, obviously.
Yeah. I can sit at the ocean and all of a sudden my complexion clears up. I can breathe. It's relaxing. I feel centered.
Yeah, it's good for all of those things.
Yeah, like all the things that the mountains don't provide for me because I have really bad allergies, and so the pollen is horrific, and so I stay in this constant state of congestion all the time, and so. But when I go to the beach, it's wonderful.
Ocean breeze has no pollen.
No,
it's coming off the desert, desert. Strangely, that is the ocean. Yeah,
yeah, and it's just. I loved sitting down at night, especially when there's a moon and you can see the moon like reflecting on the water and you can hear the water. And
I love walking the beach at night. That's my favorite time.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Because it's nice and cool.
Yeah, it's very nice.
There's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I love the mountains because ever since I've come into sobriety, that's like my favorite thing to do. Because, when you're getting high, I know you don't know anything about it, but when you're getting high and when you're using
I wouldn't consider myself a user. I mean, I smoked weed,
No, this is way different. No.
Okay, this is a lot worse.
Like when you're into other stuff besides weed, like you really don't want to go outside. I mean, I didn't anyway. I spent all my time in a bedroom getting high. And so now it's like a newfound freedom that I have. And I love exercising it and just exploring and things like that. Conquering different waterfalls and mountains.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Didn't you go to Looking Glass today?
I did.
Isn't that a beautiful little falls?
It is, and I didn't realize how big it was until...
It's a lot of water coming off that little thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy that jumped off of it
gosh.
just a few weeks ago. He survived, but it's very shallow at the bottom. It's only
was
like...
Was he suicidal or was it...
No, he was just having a good time.
Oh, my gosh,
He'd
that's
had a
horrible.
few. He drank a few,
Yeah.
But... he survived.
Yeah, hot tip, kids. Don't just jump off every cliff you see. Maybe check things out first.
That's a hot tip. That's for sure. Well, how long have you been sober now?
It'll be 7 years next month.
Wow.
July 28th will be 7 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's great.
Yeah, you feel at liberty. One of my good friends, Jason, he's 9.5 years in, and his sister unexpectedly passed away. And from pneumonia, like complications with pneumonia. And she was only 52. Unexpected, like she was, a healthy person. And we were so afraid, that he was going to slip back in. But he hasn't. And I'm very proud of him. And
That's awesome.
I know it's hard.
Yeah.
I know it's hard for people whenever things like that, those big things hit, you want to turn back to that stuff. So kudos to you for, you said almost 7?
Yeah, next month will be 7. July 28th, 2018 is when I got sober.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you and I, we message back and forth all the time. And you're like, you'll ask me a question or I'll try to respond the way wherever I can. And we kind of go back and forth. And we've been talking a lot about eternal conscious torment. We've been talking about election. What is the new heaven and new earth and things like that. And you were... right before we started recording, you were asking me questions about something that I recently said in my debate with Alan Bondar.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in regard to, what was it again?
Wrath.
Wrath, yeah. Yeah, because that was one of the things that I started questioning. The person that put me on it years ago really was Rick Carter.
Oh, yeah?
Rick Carter is a universalist, and I struggle with it, but he kept telling me, he's like, if you will take audience relevance to its like to the ultimate, like if you'll actually follow it and don't turn it on and off, he said, you'll see it. Well, I still don't see universalism. I don't. I still see this. There's a couple things that hang up for me. One of the things that I've recently started noticing was that my beliefs of election have started to change. I believe that election is real, and I believe that God used election, and I believe that it has a time frame. I don't think that it's always been that way. Now, for people to say, but he's sovereign, so he has to know. Are you telling me that he doesn't know something? What I'm saying is that God can limit himself if he so desires to do so. And I believe that he did with Adam and Eve in the original garden. I think that he limited himself. I don't believe those questions are rhetorical anymore. I believe when he said, where are you? That he was literally asking, where are you? Because he was relating to the man. He was in a relationship with them. To me, it's not a relationship if it's massively one-sided. Right. And I believe that what the writer of Genesis, whether it's Moses, and I think it's most likely Moses, but whoever wrote that book is trying to convey, they're looking back. Genesis was written after Israel had already got, pretty close to the promised land. So he's looking back. And so a lot of the things that he's writing about sin and law and things like that find their way into those early chapters of Genesis. And one of the things that Rick Carter asks me all the time, he's like, it looks like they're reverse engineering what God told them later back into the past. He said, I think the writer is trying to say, like, whenever God's speaking to Cain and says, sin is crouching at your door, he was like, the Bible never really mentions sin until that point. Right. That's when you first hear about it. So it's like, well, did Adam and Eve sin? Like, yes, but was there a covenant? That's what covenant creationists will say. Like, yes, there is. There's all kinds of signs for it. I haven't come to that position yet, but it makes sense that there would be a covenant because God is a covenant God.
Yeah.
And so you got, we talk about the old covenant and the new covenant, and it's like that covenant that was made during the time of Moses would, I guess, technically it's different than the time of Adam. But what Adam is doing in the garden, like the cultivation, of the plants or caring for the plants, it's the same word that the priests have for taking care of the temple. It's the same exact word. And so anyway, I've started rethinking my idea about what election was. And so when you get to the new covenant, it looks like you're back in that garden city place. Okay. But the reason I'm not a universalist is because there's this thing about blessed are they who wash their robes and enter in and have access to that tree.
Absolutely.
So to me, it seems like those who do not wash their robes do not have access, right? Mm-hmm. So that to me is like, that's the only thing that I can think is if there is election in the new covenant, then it's people who are elected to wash their robes. Okay?
Okay.
But if he's taking you back to a place where now God is limiting himself, if everything is complete, then it's just about an ongoing kingdom that never ends. Then there could be the liberty of people choosing or not choosing. There could be that liberty. It's pretty, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is not present in that new garden. You ever notice that? It is in the first one, but it's not in that new garden city. And I think the reason why is because the effect of the good and evil are in the flesh and blood world that we live in. We see these ethics and morality that are happening all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just part of it. We become like God. We're morally autonomous. We do our own things. Mm-hmm. But during the time of the covenants, God instituted his elective process to bring about the church, to bring about this, that we have.
Yeah. And I believe, Tony Denton,
yes.
I read a lot of his stuff, and he's really like, you're corporate body, right?
I am.
So I'm corporate body too. And I love his emphasis that he puts on the first century corporate body bride, mm-hmm. and how they were elect.
Yes.
I mean, there were people that were elect to bring about that completion of that corporate body bride in the first century in 70 AD. And I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I know we're still children of God, but I think there's something that was special. It talks about in Ephesians to present you a pure, spotless bride to God. And there was something going on between 30 to 70 AD, like a purification process that they were going through. And do you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about? Okay. So I think, like the elect, I think it had to do with that time.
I agree. And I think that's, Paul brings it up. So does Peter. Like, all of them bring up this election that's going on with them. And so I see that Israel, like we just did a study in Revelation 12, me and Mike and Zach and Joel. And one of the things that I was picking up on was that the woman that is clothed with the sun and has the moon at her feet and then has the 10 stars around her head, or the 12 stars, the 12 stars around her head, like, that to me is Israel. Because
absolutely.
of Genesis 36 and where Joseph has the dream, about the sun and the moon and stars, and how Jacob picked up on that and was like, will me and your mother and your brothers bow to you? And it's obvious that the sun and the moon and the stars are Israel. And so I see the old covenant Israel, the original bride, and how it gives birth to that child, and how the dragon wants to destroy it. But then the child goes off and the woman goes off into the wilderness. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh, see, this is where Israel is changing. The Messiah is bringing out and bringing in the new bride as the old one is passing away. So once all of that occurs, and if we are right, if full preterism is true, then if all of it is complete, then technically speaking, there is no more temple. We always say we are the temple, but there is no more temple. According to the scriptures, God and the Lamb are the temple of it.
That's correct.
Right? So that means that the ultimate goal is God with us, God within us, and us abiding in him. And so if his presence is here, then the only thing that I see that's distinct is the washing of the robes. And to me, that's being clothed in Christ. That is when we hear his voice and we recognize it and we respond to it, and then we go into it.
Right.
But again, I think that draw, it seems like the gospel just always goes out. It's always a come and be in this place,
Right.
So as far as wrath is concerned, the wrath was upon that generation, and Jesus said all of it would come upon that generation. And so if it all came upon that generation, then there is no wrath. So now what happens to me, what I'm thinking is that it's separating those who would be considered unclean. And somebody's like, well, unclean according to what? Well, unclean according to Christ, like unclean according to the Spirit. So those are the things that are outside of that city that cannot get in, right?
Right.
So that's what I see. So it seems to me that the only thing that Christians are really, and I was telling Bondar this, and he was having a hard time with it because, he was wrestling with me like, no, there's still consequences of things. But my point is that
He was a Calvinist.
he was deeply reformed. He was full preterist.
Yeah.
He was also a covenant creationist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if for him, he said, well, so what you're telling me is that people who don't believe in Jesus, they don't go anywhere? And I'm like, that's precisely what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're not going to a punishment. They're not going to an annihilation. They're not going to, like, the lake of fire and all that stuff was past.
Right.
All of that was back then. And death in Hades, the death, that separation from God, that kept the people out of the covenant, of that covenant, was thrown into the fire. The new covenant is right here in front of your face, God with us.
Yeah.
If you don't choose him, then that's it. You're done. But the believers can go on. But I told him, because he was like, well, if you don't even know what it is, then why be a part of it and want it? And I was like, listen, my new view has given me such an appreciation for my life, like my life now. I'm not thinking about 50 years from now, or who knows how long I've got to live on this earth. I said, I'm much like an atheist right now. An atheist sees the beauty of the life that they have, and they want to make it the best that they can. So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. But all I'm telling him and anyone else that are atheists is that the teachings of Christ enriched my life. The Spirit of God does things in me that were not a part of who I was before. It has changed me from the inside out and made me a very loving person, somebody that's willing to put aside and exalt others instead of myself, and things that, because I told Holly this the other day. I was like, I don't think people really realize just like what a jerk I really was. Like if I wasn't thinking about Christ, if I didn't have the Spirit of God wrestling with me, I would just do whatever I wanted. I mean, I wouldn't be a jerk. I mean, I'm still a nice guy, but I would do other things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'd do some other stuff.
Like what?
Well, like I wouldn't spend time in churches on Sunday. I wouldn't, I like to go to church because I like to worship with other believers.
Yeah.
It's a joy for me. But if I didn't have this, similar beliefs, at least the belief in Jesus, we might have a lot of different doctrine,
Sure.
but the belief in Jesus it's important to me to be around other people that are like-minded,
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean here in the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Here talking with you. Like I love talking with you, like people like you and Michael Miano, because you give me a space to express myself and there's no judgment. And I don't ever, even if we disagree, even if you and I don't see eye to eye, it's okay because I can still talk about it. But where I live back home, I can't talk about it because there's so much judgment and there's so much people have to have control and no, you have to believe this. This is heresy. This is heresy. And it's like, that's kind of what I'm going through. That's what I've been going through. And I'm struggling with that with other people right now. And it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long this will last for me. I really don't know, but so like a lot of the old churches that I went to, like I've maintained really great relationships with them. I just took myself out of the churches.
Yeah.
Because I refuse to be told what I can and cannot say.
Yeah.
I will not be censored.
Absolutely.
And so if I can't speak my mind whenever I'm in the church, and have the freedom to talk, then I don't want to go. I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I took myself out of it,
Yeah.
But I don't but trust me, I'm not judging them. They can do whatever they want. If they feel confident in what they believe and they're there, then more power to them. Until they start telling me, I'm a lot like Ricky Gervais, the atheist. I know that sounds weird, but Ricky Gervais would say, if a person wants to pray, have at it. If a person wants to believe in God, have at it. I have no problem. But the minute they come to me and say, God told me something to tell you, or God told me to do something to you, that's where we're going to have a problem. Because I tell them, I actually told a guy just a few weeks ago, he's like, God told me to tell you this. And I said, no, he didn't. It's all in your head. You need to calm down. God didn't tell you to tell me anything. He will tell me because I have the Spirit of God. He will tell me. I don't need you to tell me, okay? We're not living in the age of prophets anymore. Those days are over. So,
yeah, me too. That's how I feel about it. I'm kind of a cessationist in a sense. Like I feel like God is I don't know how you feel
about
what
cessationism, Andy, just means like
I'm sorry, Andy.
the gifts of prophecy and the gifts of the tongues and the things of the early church. We believe that they've ceased because we believe everything is complete.
Okay.
So if it's complete, then those days, so when you see people speaking in tongues, we're like, that's something that you've conjured on your own and you've got a group and you guys are doing it and you're acknowledging it and it's groupthink and that's how it works. But it's not what the early church did.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not one of those people that watch TBN. Are you familiar with?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they
Not spent much time there, to be fair, but I'm aware of it.
Like God showed me this dream or God gave me a dream. And I don't mean to offend anyone else. I really do not believe that stuff's for today.
Well, if they are a prosperity preacher and they're taking money from my grandma, I do have a problem with them. And I let them know I do not care for them. They're taking advantage of people. They're saying things like, this is happening and God told me they'll bless you. Just give me $5,000 to my ministry. It's like, yeah, that's funny. That's like a nice thought.
Jesse Duplantis.
Yeah. All those people, they drive me nuts like that.
Me too.
I can't stand it. It's like, if God will provide all the things that you need, especially when it comes to finances, Paul was telling them, God shall supply your needs provided by his riches and glory. He's talking about money in that context. He's not talking about all kinds of other things. He's literally talking about money.
Right.
So he said, I've learned to be content with little and I've learned to be content with much, but he will supply all my needs. And so, yet he still gets on the churches and says, why aren't you giving? He still says that, like, well, why aren't you giving? Because that's still a part, giving with a cheerful heart is a part of a believer's life.
Yeah.
Especially in the first century when they literally gave up everything.
Oh, yeah. There's a unique context right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where they were under persecution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what questions you got for me today, Kirsten? I'll take the hard line. You take the soft line.
Hard line. I don't know. Well, I really want to talk about eternal conscious torment and election.
Okay.
And me coming out of traditional legalistic mindsets.
Yeah.
So,
well, as far as eternal conscious torment, I think you know that I don't believe in it.
right.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I believe in it. I believe eternal torment exists, but only in the lake of fire, which was in 70 AD, which was in Jerusalem, and it's always going to be this way. There will never be another temple. There will not be one. I've told everybody a million times, when I see that temple go up, I'm going off the air. I'm not talking about it anymore because obviously I don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't know why God would ever allow a temple to be rebuilt, considering that Christ and he are the only temple that's ever been acceptable. So I think if you see a temple get up, you might want to change your eschatology and, go back to dispensationalism.
Well, I think it speaks volumes that there has not been another temple built.
Sure.
Since the second one was destroyed. I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like it's a divine expression of, I'm done with the temple system.
Yeah.
The physical temple system,
Well, he definitely is. I mean, that was the whole point, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Jesus himself said, destroy this temple and I will raise it in 3 days. He was talking about the temple of his body. We are the body of Christ. But that temple in the new heaven and new earth, in the new garden city, is God and the Lamb. The Bible says it very clearly. So that means he and us and him. It's abiding in him. So as far as the eternal conscious torment like we see in Luke chapter 16, I don't believe that Jesus is teaching a new teaching. I don't think that's what's happening. I think he's using their beliefs that these people had that were in front of him. The Pharisees were the ones that were teaching this. It's all over Second Temple literature. It was Greek influenced. And he's saying, how about this? If there's an afterlife, he's going to open his eyes in hell and he's going to look up and he's going to see the beloved, like Lazarus, the beggars, those that are poor are the ones that get to paradise.
Yeah.
And so he's showing them the way that you treat the poor in this life has an effect on you. You need to stop it. And that's what the blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I mean, that's
all over. I've noticed all over the New Testament, that's really a theme, is Jesus is confronting the people, especially the religious people of Jerusalem. He's confronting them at that time of how they're treating the lower class society, or like the diseased, the leprous, or the poor, or anything like that. And I think that's really his main point, is you're corrupting the law and you're missing the point, and you're not. What does he say? He says, you tithe of mint and cumin and anise, but you neglect the weightier matters of the law, like
justice and mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
You forget the things that actually matter.
Yeah.
And then he does parables like the tax collector and the Pharisee that go into the temple, and the tax collector can't even lift his eyes and he's beating on his breast, God have mercy on me, a sinner. And then the Pharisee's like, I'm glad I'm not like that sinner over there. He's pointing out constantly that these people that are running their religious economy are corrupt.
Yeah.
That's what he's pointing out all the time. And he says, and by the way, all of the blood from righteous Abel down to Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, is going to come upon this generation. All of it.
Yep.
And this house will be left desolate. And then it was. I mean, that's what is going on.
Yeah. And like the rich man in that parable, he thought he was, way better, and he treated Lazarus with contempt. And, Jesus in essence says, Lazarus is going to be saved, and this is going to be you. And that was unthinkable for the rich man, like for him to, for the Pharisees to hear that was unthinkable for them, because they were the people of God.
They were the religious people.
Yeah.
They were the ones that were studied and knew the law, and they knew,
God would never do this to us. We're his chosen people.
Yeah, we're the sons of Abraham.
Yeah.
And what did John the Baptist and Jesus both, what would happen? John the Baptist said, don't think that being a son of Abraham is anything because God can raise sons from these stones.
Absolutely.
Later, when Jesus is going into the city as the king, they're saying, stop these people from yelling. He's like, if I stop, these stones are going to cry out. It's like God is making it clear in this New Testament that he's done with that old system and the corruption of it.
And that's also, I believe that's a part of the election story in that piece is, like the religious Pharisees, they thought, like we were just saying, that they were God's special chosen people. But Jesus is like, like Paul says, not all of Israel is of Israel,
right.
Romans chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
And, I believe that's a piece of election in this whole story.
It is. I mean, and that's election is real. It was for a purpose. It served its purpose. It birthed the church.
Because when you go to the scriptures, like I used to be a Calvinist and I'm coming out of it, thank God, because it's tormented me. Reformed theology has really messed me up.
It messes a lot of people up.
And so you can't go to the scriptures and deny that election is biblical. You have to be honest with the scriptures. If that's what you want to, if you want to be a good Berean, you have to be honest with yourself and with the scriptures. Okay, election is biblical. I see it in John, Ephesians, Romans. It's everywhere.
It's all over the New Testament.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Predestination.
And if you hold any form of a futurist idea, then election stands right now.
Yeah.
The only way that this technically works theologically is if your eschatology says it's complete. If it's complete, then the purpose of election, which was meant to stand and did in its time, then it would cease, and that you would be back to being what I believe is a person that has liberty. And I'm not the only one, by the way. Don Preston holds this view as well. There are several full preterists that don't, and I didn't for a long time because I came from a Reformed position as well.
Yeah.
But I've come to the conclusion, and this is my conclusion, and this is where I'm at this time, and this is recent, just in the past couple of weeks, really about 3 weeks now, where I really started seeing it like, wait, I don't know if election is necessary anymore. Some people are like, well, God knows all things. Yes, he does, if he wants to. And that's what I'm trying to say. You can read the Bible and see where he limits himself on purpose. He does. He absolutely limits himself. And that's for a lot of, like, think about it. People say God doesn't change. How many times have you heard that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When he flooded the earth, whether you believe it was local or was global, I don't care. Technically speaking, it was the covenant people, if they were covenant. Some people say it wasn't. Whatever. It was the people of God. It was the descendants of Adam and through Seth and all the way down to Noah. So Noah, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives were the only ones that were saved, right?
Mm-hmm.
God flooded the earth because it says that man only did evil continually all the time. That's all he did. So God does this great reset. Well, after he does it, what does he promise Noah?
That he would never flood the earth like that again.
Does God change?
Yeah, and
of course he does.
Of course.
In
And
relationship to man, he changes.
I would love to give another example if I could. So Moses, when I think it's before he goes and talks to the children of Israel and brings them out of Egypt, his son is not circumcised.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that God is on his way to kill Moses.
Right.
Because his son was not circumcised, and that was a part of his covenant with God, is that the children had to be circumcised the 8th day, right?
Yes. It came all the way down from Abraham. That was the circumcision promise. Yeah.
So it says that God is on his way to kill Moses, and then Moses' wife, I don't know how you say
Zipporah.
it. Zipporah, okay.
Or Zipporah, however you want to say it.
So she circumcises the kid really quick and just throws the foreskin out there, and I think she says something like
It actually says his feet or his genitals. We discovered that a long time ago. Remember that? Do you remember that?
His feet, that's right.
Yeah.
She says something like, you're a man of blood, or
That's right.
bloody religion, or something like that. And so why would God, if the Calvinists will say, so why would God be on his way to kill Moses if he already knew that was going to happen? I mean, he knew it was going to happen, but,
Well, listen, that's why I ask questions like, does God limit himself? If God says, my ways are not your ways, then we already know that God is far above, man.
Absolutely.
You can look at this philosophically and theoretically. You don't have to look at it theologically. You can look at it and say, all right, if there's a God, he doesn't have a body like we do, at least not the same kind of body that we do. And he is a creator, whether you believe it was ex nihilo or ex materia. I don't care. Choose whichever one you want. He does something that man cannot do. And so his ways are different from us. If he wants to relate to us, he's going to have to do something to do that. And when he does it, I believe it's limitation on his own accord. He chooses to limit himself when he desires to do so for a purpose in relationship. When I'm in the kitchen, I make it look like I'm hosting my own cooking show. Pots clanging, oven doors slamming, me yelling stuff like, "Where's the roux?" I don't even know what a roux is, honestly. Meanwhile, what am I actually doing? Sprinkling on a little thing called my secret ingredient. That's it. That's the whole magic trick. They've got 2 blends, and honestly, they're doing all the work while I just look busy. First up, everything seasoning. This stuff turns your basic breakfast into a brunch masterpiece. I've put it on chicken, eggs, toast, hash browns. Oh, and last week, I sprinkled it on leftover pizza like a total savage. Game changer. And yes, I got a little cocky and threw it on some apple slices. Is that illegal? Probably. Did it taste amazing? Yes. Now, for the main event, steakhouse seasoning. This seasoning turns your grill into a holy shrine of meat. Burgers, next level. Steaks, legendary. Portobello mushrooms, so good I had to sit down for a minute. One shake and suddenly people are like, "Dang, you must have marinated this for days." And I'm like, totally. Yep, marinated it in secret magic. So if you want to look like a culinary genius without actually doing much, head over to mysecretblends.com. That's mysecretblends.com. And don't forget to use code BURROWS at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's BURROS at checkout for 20% off your first order. Bang your pots, slam your drawers, but just know the real secret, it's in the shake. My secret ingredient. Try it today.
You know what I love recently is I'm listening to this guy, and I sent you an article from him. I don't know how to say his name. I think it's Eaton Barr.
Yeah.
And he's like a Messianic Jew. And as I'm healing from Calvinism, from kind of the damage, I don't want to speak ill of Calvinists, so that's not what I'm trying to do.
No, I don't either, because I understand it. And again, this is recent for me, 2 to 3 weeks ago, because I was pretty staunch about it.
Yeah, I was too.
And I have a really good friend that's a Calvinist. He's actually been here on the podcast, and I'm sure he'll bring this up to me, and we'll probably talk about it later. And I'll do my best to, explain it. But some people are diehard. There are 7-point Calvinists in the world.
So I'm not trying to speak, because I have so many Calvinistic friends, and I've been going to a Calvinist church for the past 3 or 4 years. So God is bringing me through this healing process right now. And, I used to listen to guys, like you'll see me post on Facebook about Paul Washer and John MacArthur. And I used to read the Puritans,
Jonathan Edwards.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Sinners in the hand of an angry God.
Oh my gosh. I had a nervous breakdown when I when I listened to that sermon. So it seems like some Calvinists have that view of God where God hates you and just wants to destroy you, and
you deserve it.
You're tiptoeing over hell's boundaries, and he brings up God wants to swat you like a fly, and you're so detestable in his sight. And so it's not that I have things against Reformed theology, or I think that's what I have against Calvinism, is the way that they perceive God, if that makes sense. We're so horrible and detestable. Well, if we're so horrible and detestable, then God would just destroy us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then, but when
as he did at one point,
yes.
Right?
So I was
some.
I was in that doctrine.
Some, and then some not.
Yeah.
I was in that doctrine, And the whole entire time I'm in this doctrine, and I don't want to say just Bible, but like there's like Reformed circles and Reformed preachers and Reformed teaching and stuff like that. And it's like all about introspection and all these things. So I'm in it for a couple years, and it just completely restricts. Like it's kind of like choking my mental health, and it's choking my spiritual life. And it just makes my anxiety 10 times worse. And it's so horrible. And I mean, I had to come out of it, and I'm starting now to come out of it. And I just looked at God like he always hated me. Like he was always angry with me. It made my anxiety skyrocket, all these things. And it's like,
but that's not how you were introduced to God, was it?
No.
You learned that.
Yeah.
That's not how you were introduced to the Lord.
No.
Like you had like this, you came to faith, and it was a joy when you started, right?
It's been a really different journey for me.
Yeah.
It's not like I heard the gospel once and this and that. It's kind of like, I grew up in a Christian home with my grandparents, and like they put me in youth group and I hated it, stuff like that. So I have a little bit of a background, but whenever I stopped using drugs, I attributed that to the Lord. I said in my heart that nobody else could do this. It has to be God, because I couldn't stop. It was so bad. I mean, I was a horrible meth addict and all kinds of stuff. And I mean, people will tell you how horrible I was. Like I just stayed with my friend Haley over the week, and she was like, "Girl, I didn't want to be around you. You were so bad. That stuff made you so crazy." And it does. And so whenever I stopped using, or I made the decision like, hey, I want to move to Myrtle Beach and start over, I was like, it has to be God. Only he could do that. And so through that, I started, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? Go to church. So it wasn't like I heard the gospel. So it's crazy. Like then I got really heavy into this Calvinism Reformed theology, and it made my mental health, like it wreaked havoc on my mental health.
Sure.
Can you explain why or what aspects of that?
Well, like,
because I'm only loosely familiar with Calvinism. But yeah.
So election is biblical. It talks about predestination and, only the elect are saved and stuff like that. And Romans 9 talks about the other ones are predestined to be vessels of wrath, fitted for destruction. So it's kind of like, God is so holy, and which he is holy, but I feel like some people, not all, some of them make God out to be this horrible, angry, holy God that can't stand you, and he hates you, and you're disgusting and filthy. And it's not all people. Like my pastor does not do that. I mean, but some of these guys you listen to, and a lot of these people called the Puritans, they were like from the 14, 15, 16, 1700s. They would kind of go that route, some of them. And I love them. They're beautiful poets. There's this famous sermon called Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. It is the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my entire life. How you're so disgusting, and God is just looking down on you with contempt and wants to kill you, and stuff like that. Wow. And so it's like a different God from this God of love and things like that. And it really just messed my mental health up. Like I have an anxiety disorder, and it really put me, like, have you ever heard of going in fight or flight?
Oh yeah.
Like your amygdala. Like I was literally in fight or flight for a couple years.
Like all of the time.
And I always thought I was going to burn in eternal conscious torment. And it didn't matter how many times you preach me the gospel or somebody share the gospel, which Calvinists do preach the gospel, but my mind would think I'm going to hell all the time. And I got it was so horrible. That's all I could think about was my family members burning in hell.
Oh, geez, that's terrible. Yeah.
It
sounds awful.
Like if I still believed in hell, I'd be around you like, Andy's going to burn in hell. I have to there's nothing I can do. It's just like, that's all you can think about. Cause
which is also why there is always this compulsory feeling that you need to save people.
Oh yeah.
And so relationships become based on that. They don't necessarily come out and say it, but like, for example, me befriending you now, years and years and years ago, long before the podcast, I came to a place where I just respected you and your decision. And I was like, I'm not going to try to continue to sway you. But there was a time early when I really wanted to, and it was because I was so afraid that you were going to burn forever in eternal conscious torment.
To your credit, I never noticed.
I mean, I tried. I tried to just, be kind
Be nice,
and talk,
yeah.
but
Because, I know, Christians, besides pastors, I feel like if eternal conscious fiery torment is real, and I don't believe that it is, I feel like as Christians, we are not warning people enough. We should be going door to door. This is what's going to happen. But we don't, Christians don't do that. We're just...
What doesn't election mean that that's not your responsibility? I mean...
Well, see, that's the funny part. There are some Calvinists that don't feel like it's their responsibility, that it's up to God.
If it's chosen, if the elect are chosen by God, then what are you doing? What do you got to do with it?
Yeah, why are you? But because they have this great commission that's also placed on them, which is you're to go out and baptize people in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit all over the world. So it's like they're chosen, but they're not going to know they're chosen. You have to say out loud.
Okay, so that we have to have a discussion about,
Andy,
what it is to be chosen then, because
it's the way he chooses is through faith, and that is by hearing.
No.
And the only way to hear is through talking. By preaching.
But that's not chosen, that's choosing.
this is a good definition. This is how it works. So before the beginning of the world, before God created the earth, he hand selected and chose certain people. Say he chose you, but you just haven't come to faith yet. But eventually, at a certain point in time, you will come to faith if you are elect. But it's not because of your faith. It's because God came in and did a special work inside of you to have faith in Christ.
Yeah, that's the contradiction I'm talking about.
You can hear it in a verse, because he says it is by grace you are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, lest any man should boast. So the idea here is Paul
wouldn't
says,
that mean that the grace is the gift?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a gift that he gave to specific people.
Okay, so is that specific person thing in that same verse, or is that pulled from a different place?
Well, it's pulled from the same guy in the same book. There's therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Those are the people that are the elect. To the elect that are, to the saints that are in Ephesus, chosen before the foundation of the world. It says those words.
Kind of brushes over it pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. But he'll say, how can anyone know unless it is preached? So God chose the foolishness of preaching to spread this gospel.
So God put a mousetrap in you, and somebody just needs to come around and
trigger it
and
That's
flick
correct.
cheese.
That's pretty much it.
Flick the cheese.
Brilliant preachers that preached Calvinism. People like C.H. Spurgeon. The way he put it, he said, "If all of those who were chosen had a yellow stripe on their back, then I would never say anything to them. I would never give them the gospel. But because I don't see a yellow stripe on their back, I preach to every creature." And then those that respond, those were the ones that had the yellow stripe, but I just didn't see it.
So continuing with the yellow stripe thing. So the people that have the yellow stripe, if they never hear, what happens to them?
They wouldn't believe, so that means they have to hear. That means they're going to have to hear it eventually.
All right. So, but if they don't hear,
They won't go.
they won't go.
They can't. How could they?
Okay.
And no one can choose God. It's impossible for anyone to choose God. He has to enable them because
This is Calvinist thought.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. That's what we're talking about.
because we're so corrupt, we can't choose God, and that's.
But there's also a beauty to Calvinism too, because
Hey, I'm just gonna make a terrible, very self-serving metaphor, which is how fiction works, right?
sure.
Okay, so it's like if you were born with cancer and the solution to cancer, but somewhere in the world you didn't know that there was a magical spring that would cure your cancer.
Mm-hmm. It's so tragic.
And so you could live your whole shortened life and not even know that was an option and then die because they decided it was a 2-part process for some reason.
But the idea
instead of just a 1-part process.
100%. However, because they are the chosen, they will hear it. It's like a foregone conclusion. It's going to happen. God's going to make it happen.
Again, that's got that same like contradictory logic to it. So then why bother? It's going to happen.
Yes.
Right? So you don't need to work at that either. Because it's going to.
That's why there's fatalism
So
and Calvinism.
Right.
There's a lot of people that say, I don't have to do anything. God will do it.
I got really caught up, like it really messed me up to the point where my anxiety took over, and it was like, how do I know if I'm the elect? And I have a lot of friends that are
that's
like
tough.
this. And so
tough.
I got to the point where I was screaming out for God to save me, and I didn't think I was the elect. And so it's like, so I have to go to hell over something that I can't help because I'm not the elect.
Exactly.
And so like it puts people there.
I've met people that said, I am reprobate. I am
Yeah.
a reprobate.
Yeah,
Like I
it's-
know I'm a reprobate, so therefore I'm a lost cause. It's horrible, man.
It is horrible.
Yeah, it's a weird sort of tension
Yes.
to try to like both impose a future on someone and say that they have free will at the same time. Like that is a difficult, probably impossible kind of tension to what's the damn word? Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's cognitive dissonance is what it is.
Not just a cognitive dissonance, it's a weird problem.
Yeah. It's like the immovable object and the
Yeah, it's
unstoppable force.
It's a little bit of that.
Yeah, it feels like there's no, And the idea is that God is so just that whatever he chooses is good. And so therefore, if he decides not to choose somebody and to choose somebody, that's his prerogative. Now, in the New Testament, it teaches that. But what I'm saying is that it was for a particular time because God was entering the world. That's the idea. Jesus was entering in the world as God. And ultimately, this is the problem that I have with Calvinism. They beat themselves to death, but they don't understand that Jesus himself, if you listen to the story, it's called good news for a reason, because all of those conflicts, all of those things that were separating people from God, Jesus resolved it.
Yeah.
It's a brutal thought that he would have to be brutally murdered and that his blood would have to be needed in order to resolve it. But you're going from an ancient culture where blood is everything. And in this culture, which was taught by God, that blood is life. Blood is the life. And so Jesus is saying, I lay my life down, and now you will have access to him. That's the end of the story. Like, you don't have to do the brutality anymore. That's God handling it himself. If Jesus is God, then God is solving his own problem.
Right.
It's a problem. This is a problem, and the whole problem isn't that you can think about good and bad. It's that your idea is, I want to operate outside of a relationship with God. That's what the problem of the garden was. That's what the problem of the covenant is. God is a relationship God. If he made these things, he wants to relate to it. He chooses to do so. And so when he comes into the world, all of that election stuff, all of that stuff about foreordained and things that were predestined to do things was to bring about what Christians should say is the most liberating thing that's ever happened. But a lot of Christians don't. They will not accept that liberty.
Yeah,
they just will not do it.
That's something
Kirsten was one of them that would not.
Oh, I struggled so badly with it. And I still struggle a little bit, but God is, he's doing a lot of good stuff right now. Since the last time you saw me.
That's good. You were fine.
Yeah.
You seemed fine.
Yeah, but it's like
I'm
I'm seeing so much growth. Like before I couldn't see any growth, and I was so frustrated and so stuck on things like that, like what we were just talking about. And, you need to, well, you don't need to watch it, but so this pastor, his name is Paul Washer. He's kind of what started to really mess me up with my anxiety.
He's messed up a lot of people, man. He's got some really,
is
really
so
hard.
condemning and horrible, and like kind of says the stuff like I was telling you about earlier, that God hates you and his wrath is on you and he wants to destroy you.
You need to get married now.
You need to, and the only way to,
if you masturbate, you're going to burn forever.
Yeah, it's stuff.
Too late for me then.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's like, it's crazy. And so I got caught, like he really triggered my fight or flight system. I'll have to let you listen to him. And
you don't want to listen to him. Just take our word for it.
I will.
So I definitely,
I'd rather a secondhand anyway.
I definitely believe that there are professing Christians that think they're in a relationship with God, or they think they're saved and they're not really saved. I definitely believe there's validity to that. But it's like some of these guys, they really mess with your mental health. Like him and John MacArthur really messed with my mental health. Just very condemning. Just that's the best way to say it. And it's so horrible.
I keep thinking, talking about that sort of preacher or anybody that says that all humans are pieces of that are probably unreformable, you need to wonder about that person.
Yeah.
Like you do. Like, what is up? Because, I mean, we are just self-obsessed meat sacks. Things like that are said as a projection, almost universally. Anybody that thinks everybody is trash, I would maybe just
including themselves.
Be careful. That's
including
right.
Themselves.
Because but themselves is almost always included in that. That's
what I mean.
Yeah,
they include themselves in that. And I was getting ready to say one of the beautiful things about Calvinism, and I know this is going to sound weird, but just hear me out.
He shouldn't.
Sound effects.
I stepped on.
That was stepping on Greg. Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Andy.
Greg.
So, one of the things that Calvinism does actually do, which is really unique, and you can see it as a bad thing, but I don't anymore. I did for a while, but Calvinists have a really good understanding of what the holiness of God is and what the wretchedness of humanity can be.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
They point out the side of humanity that can be absolutely wretched. They see it. And I know, like you just said a minute ago, like selfish meat sacks, or like, there are several humans that make some really bad decisions.
Sure.
And there are several humans that make great decisions. That's what I was pointing out to Alan. I said, the idea of good and bad, or good and evil, like humanity, if the garden story was true, then humanity is infused with this idea of good and this idea of bad, or good and evil. And that's what we see. We can witness it. There are some human beings that don't believe in Jesus that are just gems, man, to me. Like, they're beautiful people and wonderful people, and they're very self-sacrificing
They're better
and good.
people than I am.
A lot of them are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm good, but you know what I mean? Like sometimes some atheists, they're just, they're awesome. They seem more Christ-like.
One of my dear friends, Nigel Taylor from Australia, he just recently left Christianity and went back into atheism.
Yeah,
and I say back into it. Atheism is not a belief system, but it's just he no longer believes in God.
Yeah.
And he had he exited out of Christianity for 10 years, and then when full preterism came around, it was a beautiful thing to him, and he came back in, he started seeing things again, and it made him happy. And then he left it again because full preterism is an absolute beast of a thing, because people are all in this disagreement and yelling and screaming at each other and stupid crap. But by the way, it's not just preterism, it's Christianity in general.
Yeah, it's any belief system with divisions.
Yeah.
I feel like it's led a couple of people into atheism, like Tristan Gabriel is. Well, I don't know if he's an atheist.
He is.
Derek Lambert.
Yeah.
Tina Ray Collins.
Yeah, Jen Fishburne, Alan Bondar, a lot of them.
Alan Bondar.
Now, Alan Bondar will tell you straight up that full preterism and covenant creation did not lead him out. That his was a stripping of the mind over time,
right?
From fundamentalism into. And he started realizing it was just like when he quit smoking. It's just all of a sudden,
Well, it's freedom. I mean, fulfilled eschatology, full preterism, it's freedom for me.
It is for me. Absolutely.
There's so many things you can spin out. Like, if you're a futurist, like I was telling Tom Mills the other day, like the rapture. I've had a couple of my friends be like, Kirsten, I'm so afraid I'm going to get left behind in the rapture. And they literally like spin and spiral about that. And I don't have to, because I know, that's not for today.
No, I just watched somebody get married simply because they wanted to have a chance to have a family. And when I say I just did, this is another one. I just talked about this several months ago about a woman who got married because she wanted to have children before Jesus returned. I just saw another one do it. Dude, I just saw another one do it.
That's crazy, because you don't.
Yeah.
It's not like the 80s and 90s where it was the end of times every 4.5 days. Or at least it doesn't feel that way. Maybe I'm just out of the loop.
It's still happening. If you're in the Christian world, they're talking about it every day.
Yeah.
They're
Futurism can affect your life negatively.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can make you like think crazy thoughts. I've thought.
But then we have like
craziest
Sarita in here who never hears it.
Right.
And she talks about it. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've never had that experience in church. And Sarita's one of
gosh.
those people that are out there like pounding the pavement, trying to help, doing what she can for people.
She's blessed.
She is. And I told her that. I was like, you weren't raised in around any churches that I came up in because I heard it all the time.
We're
every
always in the
week.
last days. We've been in
Always.
the last days for 2,000 years.
Yes, we have.
You know, I'm serious.
We have.
If they're called the last days, then it's a contradiction.
Yeah.
Because if it was the last days 2,000 years ago and it's still the last days.
I have to do quick math because I'm a goofball like that.
Yeah.
I just want to know how many last days there were.
2025. 2025.
730,000.
Last days.
Oh, if you go for 2,000 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
730,000 last days.
It's the end times madness. It's like a fever.
Yeah, it's pretty
I've
wild.
caught it before for sure.
Oh, I used to have it.
Oh, yeah.
I used to have it bad. I used to be terrified, man, because when my children were little, I always thought, oh no, I've had kids and now I've got to worry about this.
I had it when I was on meth. Oh my gosh, it was worse.
Oh yeah.
That's horrible, isn't it?
Isn't everything worse on meth?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what's
Paranoia.
the joy of meth.
I mean, paranoia is,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're going to be paranoid about something and you do meth for an extended period of time, you're going to be more paranoid about it.
what is the joy of meth?
It makes you really hyper.
That's the joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
If
stimulant.
man,
I'm just curious.
it's you just asked. I'm trying to think of a metaphor that doesn't aggrandize drug use.
Yeah, we're not guys. We don't want you to go out and do meth. That's not what we're
Yeah,
saying.
no,
I'm just
absolutely
curious.
not.
No,
please.
okay. So let's just put it simply.
Okay.
There's a reason people do drugs.
Yes.
But don't be absurd.
Here's
Yeah.
my point. Here's
yeah,
my point.
Yeah, it feels good. It's fun.
Don't
You
do drugs.
You did meth.
Don't
you
do
did-
drugs.
You did meth once. You did meth twice. You got something from it, but it's no longer just about that. It becomes about the dependency that's chemical as well.
Sure, absolutely.
And now
Yeah.
you're trying to fix that because you feel like garbage.
Right, because you can't even
The effect of the
Yeah.
drug itself physiologically is a problem, not just mentally.
Yeah,
That's
then
like-
you need the drug just to get past your baseline. At
There
that
you
point.
go.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what withdrawal is. That's
when I was hooked on opiates, like it changes after maybe like a week or two, it changes your brain chemistry. So like if you wake up after like a week and you've been doing opiates like for a week or two straight, you'll wake up and you will feel like garbage until you do you consume an opiate, and like you'll feel like garbage for a long time and you're like, I want to stop feeling like garbage. Like you can't think right, you have diarrhea, your stomach hurts.
I've never had the pleasure of a opiate withdrawal, but
Okay,
as
it's
it is-
eternal conscious torment.
that's what as it has been described to me. Yeah, it is just hell on wheels.
That's
Yeah.
why we don't do opiates, because it is eternal conscious torment.
Yes. So whatever the initial high was that was awesome and fun that made you want to do it the second time. I was just curious, like, is meth such a powerful drug that it's immediately physiological and you're just doing it now because you're trying to feel better?
No, I suspect I've never been that deep into it. I've done a couple drugs, people, but I just got lucky.
Meth
I never
isn't
got
like
that far with it.
opiates. Like you can do meth and you'll have, when you come down off of it, it's like a meth hangover for like 3 days and you feel like death, like you're knocking on death's door. I did every time because it sucks all your nutrients and your vitamins and it sucks everything out of your
So
body.
it's a great way to lose weight.
Oh, yeah.
Kids, don't do meth to lose weight.
We are not promoting meth.
We are not promoting any
If
drug.
you're being weighed down by dopamine, it's a great way to lose weight.
See, this is why I love you guys, because I can sit here and speak my mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So move up here.
Okay.
Come on.
Move to.
Move up here and join the boroughs.
I love Fletcher. I would move to Fletcher.
Then come on.
Which beach are you at?
Myrtle,
Myrtle.
in South Carolina.
Yeah.
I
And
want
if
to
you
move up here
decide-
so badly, but it's so expensive.
It is.
It is expensive.
It is expensive.
It is.
I couldn't
Move to
afford to
Rutherford
move
County.
here.
Well, I'm glad you're not lying to me at least.
No, it is expensive, but you can move to Rutherford County and it's not as expensive and it's only about 40 minutes
Yeah,
from here.
I would definitely do something on the outskirts of Asheville,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Burnsville's a beautiful place, but it's like a good 45 minutes to an hour away from Asheville, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
It is a beautiful place. I love it up there.
It's all very pretty up there.
It is.
It's all the surrounding areas are pretty.
I can't tell that Helene hit here so far from what I've seen.
What, Hendersonville?
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
they're just in the
it's
area
better than
in
what it
general.
was.
Yeah.
If you'd have come earlier, I mean, if you pay attention to the power lines, you'll still see quite a number of them still hang like in a monoflow where you're like, why is that there? That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it's a little low.
So you'll see a lot of that. Of course, most of the trees that were down have been removed, especially in town. You get out of town, you'll see more trees down. But the thing is, if you're not in Asheville or in one of the areas where all the mudslides were, you needed to be by a river. It was trees. It was all trees, except if you were by a river or you were in a place that had one of those mudslides. So Hendersonville's flat, and we don't have a real river through it. We have a creek. That creek got
really far.
I bet it was like 14 feet deep, right? And it's, usually probably 6 feet wide and a foot and a half deep.
Yeah.
And it got 14 feet deep. It like filled a valley over there by the airport.
Gosh.
It did.
But the water doesn't move through
planes
here that
underwater.
fast.
Planes.
Right. Yeah.
Like actual planes.
Yeah,
were
you could
underwater.
see the roofs of the hangars that the planes
Yes.
Oh my
were in.
gosh.
You could. That's it. But that's not a normal river, and this is flat. Water just doesn't move through there fast, so it just didn't like destroy everything. You need to go somewhere where there was a little more speed.
Go up to Biltmore and Swannanoa and look around. You'll see plenty of the effects. Still.
Oh yeah, Swannanoa's still a mess.
It's a
Apparently.
mess. Yeah, I mean,
haven't
it's a
been
lot
up there
better than
much,
it
but-
was. Swannanoa River Road's a lot better than it was.
Of course, there's Lake Lure still. There's
Oh yeah, that's a mess. Absolutely. Well, why don't we wrap up this episode and we'll go into part 2? Sound like a plan?
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, let's keep talking about eternal conscious torment. It's a lot better than what I've been talking with Bondar about, which is rape, murder, pedophilia, and slavery.
He put you in some really bad corners.
Not really. It didn't bother me.
I don't like it.
Well, it doesn't bother me at all. I love
I'm
Alan.
glad it doesn't
I love
bother
talking to him. He's, it's difficult. And he's even said, he's said as much. He's like, Rick, listen, when I was a Christian, I didn't talk to people like me. He's like, so, I don't know how you're doing it. I was like, because I talk to an atheist every Thursday.
To be
that's
fair,
true.
But you don't really challenge me on things that much.
if he's talking about the things that I assume he's talking about, I specifically don't bring that up because they're so difficult and uncomfortable conversations to have with Christians that I've just long decided to leave people alone about those things.
Yeah, well, so that's in essence what's going on is that Bondar and I are going first. We've already done 4 where I had to explain what is the concept that I call God in the Matrix, which is how God relates, how an infinite God relates with a finite creature. You and I have sort of touched on the subject a little bit, but now what we're doing is we're going to go into rape, pedophilia, slavery, those things. And I'm going to, without too much sophistry, trying to explain to him how this works with a relationship God through a mediator of a covenant. And that's what the Bible actually is teaching. So we're getting ready to get into that. In our next episode on the 22nd of June, we're going after rape, which is not going to be fun for some, but yeah, there you go.
Sounds tricky. I commend.
It is.
Kudos, Rick, because those sound like difficult conversations.
There are some people that they'll say Jesus is not very God. Because I'm a Trinitarian, I believe that Jesus and the Spirit and the Father are one.
Then you have people like Teasy who it's almost immaterial if Jesus himself was divine while he was corporeal.
Yes. And then
almost immaterial. To
and
her.
then you have other people that are Unitarians within Christianity that say Jesus was not Yahweh, therefore he's different. So it kind of gets them off the hook. And for me, it's like I don't have to get off the hook. Like I have to go through because I believe that Jesus was the Father. Jesus, the Father, and Holy Spirit are one in essence. They have different functions, but they're all. It's like
I'm about to put you in the hot seat.
well, let's get that in episode 2.
Cliffhanger.
Keep that cliffhanger. Come back for episode 2, and Kirsten's going to put me in the hot seat. Sound good?
Yeah, my dog is starving. I forgot to feed him for you guys.
All right.
came.
Well,
He's
then
been
let's go ahead and take a break,
staring
and you
at
go
me
feed
on and
your
off for a minute.
Andy,
for
can I go
an
pee
hour.
in your house?
No, absolutely not.
That's awesome. All right. Well,
All
we
right,
will talk to you guys
bye.
again next time on the Burros of Berea. Peace out. Pee out, Kirsten.
Yeah, that's right.
Peace out.
All right, listen. I'm about to tell you something I probably shouldn't. I've been getting a lot of compliments lately, like, wow, this is amazing, or are you a chef now? Or my favorite, wait, you made this? Rude, but accurate. And the truth is, I have a secret. It's called My Secret Ingredient, and that's actually the name. And it's basically flavor magic disguised as seasoning. And they've got 2 blends right now, and I am dangerously obsessed with both. First up, everything. Not to be confused with everything bagel seasoning, this one goes on everything. Chicken, perfect. Fish, yep. Veggies, next level. Eggs, yep. Avocados, Popcorn, absolutely. Pickles, who knows? We've all been there. I'm probably going to try it tonight. They also have another one called Steakhouse. Oh man, this one makes your kitchen smell like a backyard barbecue hosted by someone who owns 3 grills and wears an apron that says "License to Grill," which, by the way, I now own. This is great for steaks, burgers, chops, anything. It is good and it is what's for dinner. Seriously, I used it on tofu the other day and even it was like, man, I still don't like tofu. But here's the deal. I'm not actually a great cook, but I just look like one now because My Secret Ingredient does all the heavy lifting. It's the seasoning equivalent of showing up late to a potluck with store-bought brownies and still getting asked for the recipe. So if you want to impress your friends, confuse your enemies, and finally stop pretending to enjoy that bland ribeye steak, go to mysecretblends.com. Again, that's mysecretblends.com. And because you're part of this flavor-loving, season-sniffing, spice-sprinkling community, use code BURROWS, that's BURROS, to get 20% off of your first order. Just promise me one thing. When people ask what you used, look them right in the eye and say, it's a secret. My Secret Ingredient. Get it at www.mysecretblends.com and use Burrows to get 20% off of your first order.
Hey, everybody. If you'd like to help us continue to make these episodes and get access to exclusive content, you could sign up at patreon.com. www.patreon.com/The Burrows of Berea. That's www.patreon.com/The Burrows of Berea. Thank you all so much.
I want you to hold that. I want you to talk to me just like you talk normally. Put me on the stand. I love it.
I have performance anxiety really bad.
We're not performing.
Okay.
We're just talking.
We're just talking.
We're having a good time.
Okay. So I would love, like, also, just even if it's one-on-one, not recorded, but I wanted to get your mind on that. I wanted to privately talk to you about the whole church thing.
Why does it have to be private? You don't want people to know what you think?
There are certain things, like some things, yeah, but there's certain things I'm trying to work through in my mind first before I go public about them.
Yeah, I just in the last few months of my life, I decided that I'm going to start stating what it is that I actually believe, and if that means that I can no longer speak at conferences or whatever it may be, like I don't care. Like what matters to me is what I believe the Bible is actually teaching and what I think it means, and I work really hard to understand it. And
me too.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And just tell people you don't believe in hell.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't take long.
You'll get a great reaction out of that one.
Yeah.
I've gotten awesome reactions.
Yeah. Are we rolling, Andy?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to kick this baby off. You ready?